Okay, so now we're moving on to the more climactic side of things, where I actually get to show you some gameplay that we recorded on the camera now. Obviously the quality's not going to be great, but fingers crossed it comes through alright. When we got there, so Nick Callum and I, we bumped into a number of Street Fighter V machines. They were the ones that were available to begin with, and then when the sort of crowd for Street Fighter V turned up, they were just overpopulated for the rest of the day. Now, I'm absolutely terrible at the fighting games such as Tekken, Street Fighter and that, but I thought I'd give Nick and Callum a go. So I'm just going to showcase some of the matches we had, just as a little exhibition. Really good game to look at. I mean, the graphics quality is good, and I can understand when a lot of people are trying to sell Street Fighter V to me, and indeed to the wider community, as the Street Fighter that anyone can pick up and play, whether you are a professional. There's that depth, which I've got no idea how to do all the special moves and the V-trigger combos and whatnot. And then for the newbies, there's just that enjoyment factor. And I did really enjoy playing it. Again, I'm not a huge fan of fighting games, but for the time I spent on it, I had quite a lot of fun. So I'll take you away with the gameplay.
I'm 2. Right. I'm only going to show you. I'll be Rio.
Paul versus Nick.
Shit at these games.
Paul versus Nick. Let's see who is better. Nick is on the left. Paul is on the right.
Nick, are you playing as a woman or a man?
Both.
He just looks like a woman from this angle. Family pasta. Oh right, that's what he likes. That's where I thought he was from Family Pasta.
That's a superpower.
Why is that guy just hanging his arms downwards at the bus?
Rio, why can't you afford a good pair of shoes? Oh my god, Nick, why? That range.
That range control. That health.
Oh, he's going to the chip.
Oh. Roundhouse.
I thought it was Shoryuken, but I can't. I thought it was...
How do you Shoryuken?
It's literally like quarter circle forwards punch. Like, back off and try and see if you can do it.
Paul's getting his shit.
Oh, there it is.
Slam it.
That's the plan.
He just looks funny.
We can't show you the shit.
You will not out button mash me. Look at him, man. He's
My Rio is just gone.
a broken thumbs in him.
Oh no. Nick the master.
The master of not knowing how to do combos.
I don't know how to V-trigger.
Neither do I.
Seriously.
Ready to get my shit kicked in. I'll get round. Right, Callum's going for the cultural reference here.
Yeah.
All races included. Yeah, you guys know how to play these games better than me. close.
Snapping the balls. None of us have to do V-Trigger or Ultras or anything.
Nick, where's the Ultra combo?
That's Kill Instinct.
So, Nick, when you what's that event? When you going to Evo 2016?
With our Street Fighter experience out of the way, and rather embarrassing at that, losing practically every match, well, we come on to something a bit different, and that is iRacing. Now, for those of you who don't know, iRacing is being sold as the most authentic simulator online racing experience that is available out there. Now, the difference is I wasn't sitting at a PC playing this with a steering wheel and a gear stick combination, which you can buy in markets like from PC World and whatnot in the United Kingdom and the equivalent abroad. I was playing this in a fully customised racing chair that Scan, the hardware company, brought down, and I was playing it on a free projector screen. So this was a screen that essentially, if you imagine me looking into the camera, and this is the front of the screen, it came around to approximately here, giving me roughly a 160-degree vision. And as a result, it was a very interesting experience. I actually felt motion sickness whilst I was playing it, simply because I've never played a game before where every time I shift up a gear, every time I slam on the brakes, I go over a small gradient change on a track. And to give you an idea, it was just literally one track you were allowed to play on and do a few laps on, and I've got a video clip coming up of both myself and Callum getting a chance to play on it. It was going around Brands Hatch, a racetrack actually quite close to where I live. A very good racetrack, a legendary one in the United Kingdom, and we were playing a really fast sports car. I've got no idea what it was, but it was a really, really unique experience to be able to sit in this chair with a full steering wheel, pedal combo and whatnot, and give it a go. And we were playing in automatic mode. They seem to have the gear sticks disabled. I don't know why, perhaps it was just for convenience, but as you're going to see, it's very different playing a racing game on a setup like this by comparison with what you used to play perhaps when you played Gran Turismo on your PS1 or your PS2, alternatively when you're playing racing games on your PC or your Xbox with an Xbox 360 controller or the full steering wheel setup, but not the full racing chair and immersive simulator setting. But enough talking, feel free to take a look.
Try not to crash.
so now I've saved the best for last in terms of the games I had the chance to play, i.e. games that are new to me, or rather fresh to me. Now, this game is something which a lot of you may not have heard of, or may not be interested in. The game is called Warhammer 40k, Eternal Crusade. Now, what is it exactly for the uninitiated? Well, at the moment it is a third-person online shooter. Doesn't sound anything special. The game is currently in early access, or as I found out today, and I won't give too much away until in a second, but the game will eventually, or the developers aim for it to eventually be a massively multiplayer online third-person shooter. So we are looking at a third-person equivalent technically of something like PlanetSide 2, whereby your normal shooter such as Call of Duty or Battlefield is based on a map of a given size and you cannot leave the boundaries. Your engagement occurs within that boundary and you're confined there until the match ends and you move to another map if the server decides to or somebody decides to change the map. The open world shooter, or the massively multiplayer online one, is when you are on a map which is absolutely huge, and essentially you could fit hundreds of these smaller Call of Duty arena maps into that map essentially. So from running from one side to the other, it's probably going to take you a few hours, if not an entire day, to do so, and it is normally a continuous battle fought out by a number of sides across a very large territory, and therefore there are a number of engagement points at any given time, and it is a completely immersive experience, or that's what the developers normally go for. Now, I only had the chance to obviously play the third-person arena shooter, because that's currently how the game is. But it wasn't only because that I enjoyed the game so much that I found it to be the game of the event for me, but also because of the people I had a chance to talk to and how promising this game sounds when it ends up in its final state. I had a chance to talk to one of the sort of media guys there, and I was talking away to him. I can't remember his name unfortunately, but he was a brilliant chap to talk to, and then he said to me, "Do you want to speak to the developers?" And my heart froze at that point. I was sort of, okay, this is pretty crazy. So not only do I just talk to any of the developers, I ended up talking to Brent Ellison, the lead game designer behind the game, and Nathan Richardson, one of the senior producers. Now these guys are known publicly for their promotion of this game, and also the fact that they are really strong advocates of the game in general. Of course you would expect that from people who work for the company, but I've heard very good things about these gentlemen, and I had the chance to speak to them and interview them about the game. Now I didn't get the chance to actually record it on camera unfortunately, but I've got a transcript here of the notes I took during the interview, and I'm just going to give you an idea of the questions I asked and also the answers I got. So my first question was, what races are currently available and which races will eventually be available? To which they replied, currently as shown in today's demo, only Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines are available. In the race selection screens today you have seen that the races Eldar and Orcs were greyed out. We intend to have these races ready for the game's official launch. Beyond launch we cannot yet confirm which races we intend to add, but they do intend to add additional races. And before I could get on to my next question, something else came out as well, where they both hastened to add, as races such as the Space Marines have numerous chapters, i.e. individual factions, if you want to put that in a very abridged term, within the given race, we intend to include 5 chapters for all said races mentioned today. These chapters will have some unique abilities and weapons as you would find in their codices. If you play the tabletop Warhammer 40k game, you'll know that you can buy a Master Codex, which is a booklet about the race, and then you buy individual codices, or when I used to play it, you buy your individual codices which talk about the specific chapter or faction of said race, which has its specialist units. We are working to make the chapters unique, i.e. for each of the races, but at the same time maintain parity between the different chapters and their respective races, i.e. game balance, so at the same time whilst the race's chapter is unique, it doesn't feel overpowered in a given way. It might have better capabilities because of its vehicles being superior, but may lack in ground damage. This is just me postulating at this point. It may lack in the overall infantry, play, and vice versa. But moving on. So my next question was, how can I get my hands on a copy of the game, seeing as it looks really well polished even now, and it really did on a high-end rig. It looked phenomenal and the sound was insane through the headphones I got to listen to it through. And I was playing against non-press event players as well, so how can I get a copy of the game? To which they replied, the game is currently in an early access phase. You may purchase a copy on Steam for £32. This copy literally just gets you the game and nothing else. Now, £32 sounds like a lot, but as we go a little bit further in, we're going to find out why the prices is at that point and why actually it's not a bad thing if you're really into this game. And I should interdict here that when I spoke to one of the media team, the guy I spoke to and who originally introduced me to both Brent and Nathan, I was informed that the intention behind the early access model was to both satisfy the enthusiasts' appetite, i.e. those who really want the game to succeed and want to play it no matter what condition it is in, and at the same time they want to simultaneously speed up the development process, with players identifying bugs whilst playing the game in the early access condition. And I was asked a number of times once I'd finished playing, did you notice any bugs with the game? And people were being asked in general, which is a very good sign, and they're very proactive in their approach, it would seem, to trying to make the game better and get it ready for launch. And by being able to report directly to developers at the event, alternatively most likely in the game itself, it means that you're going to fix a lot of the bugs really fast. So towards the end of the clip that I recorded, you're actually going, or in the middle of it, you're going to see that I did actually spot a small bug, and this is an example of the principle of early access and rapid development coming hand in hand. So moving on to another question then, I've heard people here talking about the persistent world being underway, and a number of people sort of saying that to their friends and whatnot. I overheard it, so I thought I'd ask about it. What does the persistent world actually mean? The end product, their reply was, is that we are going for something akin to PlanetSide 2's MMO first-person shooter model, MMO being the massive multiplayer online game, whereby you have a continuous conflict being staged over an enormous amount of territory. At the moment, we have player versus player or PvP matches which drift between different territories or maps on a planet known as Arcona. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Eventually, this territory/map warfare will evolve into a much larger scale continuous map, i.e. the PlanetSide 2 philosophy I was talking about at the start of this discussion. I then went on to ask, is this game purely player versus player or PvP? To which the response was no. At the moment it is, but there will be a PvE or player versus environment or enemy mode against a fifth race known as the Tyranids. We do not intend, however, to transition this race into another player race. To which I asked why. The response I got at that point was, because the swarm nature, for those of you unaware of the Tyranid race, it's a race which amasses numbers in order to overcome its enemies, I think. The swarm nature of the Tyranids means that their individual characters will have low HP, i.e. health pools, compared to other races. In turn, this makes the race harder to factor in as a playable race compared to other non-swarm races. So this is in terms of game balance, I personally assume. The idea being that you'd have your Chaos Space Marine or your guy standing on 2 feet with a lot of armour and a lot of HP and a big gun versus the swarm, which as an individual you would be the core of the swarm, the heart of the swarm, dictating the actions of the rest of the swarm or something to that effect, or you just have to stack the teams in a certain way. So I can see what they're going for here, and it's actually quite a sensible approach in my opinion. And they also interdicted that I should note that the player versus environment mode is quite far off. And again, there was no time confirmed for that. So I then moved on to ask a question which a lot of people in this day and age get apprehensive about when they hear a developer announce the concept of downloadable content or DLC. I asked, will there be any DLC? And if yes, what will it bring to the table? i.e. what will it change in the game? Now you're going to love this, ladies and gentlemen. There will be DLC, and we are pleased to say that it involves free expansions. My jaw dropped at that point. I haven't played a game where there's been free expansion packs with material in a very, very long time. I mean, I've recently played Rainbow Six Siege, and obviously you had the additional operators being added, but large amounts of content being added for free in a game which I originally purchased beforehand. I haven't played one of those in ages. But at the same time, there will also be purchasable bundles from the Steam store, but these will not be game changing. These will most likely just be cosmetics and boosters, whereby boosters are things you'd put on for a weekend if you're dedicating your weekend to gaming in order to level up faster or unlock abilities faster. So again, whilst you're paying for a small benefit and some additional cosmetics, it's not a game changer as such. So this is where my enthusiasm for the game went through the roof. So the final question was a more personal question to the two gents. What has been your favourite part or parts so far in working on this game? They both replied instantly that they are big 40k fans, so that straight away is an aspect which they absolutely love about this game, the fact they are working on something which is related to something they enjoy, the idea of the whole universe of 40k. One of them, I believe it was Brent, replied, "It would have to be the direction that the combat is going in. Firstly, the usage of third person, then working on open world aspects, i.e. the involvement into the MMO third person shooter. Plus, the early access nature of this game makes it much faster for us to correct mistakes." Again, something which I echoed earlier. Meanwhile, Nathan replied that the motion capture aspect and working with the team over multiple days to get things right for the game, the idea of being able to model the movements of the humanoid characters or the human characters via the usage of motion capture is the thing that he enjoyed most. So that was where the interview ended, and you can see, or I hope you can understand why I'm so enthusiastic about this game, and I will most likely, within the coming weeks, purchase an early access copy and start playing it, and putting a couple of videos up of it every so often. And now let's move on to the gameplay, and hopefully that'll bring full circle as to why I'm so enthusiastic about this game.
Let's do it.
Oh, you got them. B is sprint, A is dodge, left stick is cover. How you doing? We found the other Warhammer game. Apparently I was meant to press this button to record your fight between you two and Street Fighter, and I didn't do it. I thought it was already recording.
Giving up on Dark Souls is going to take at least 2 hours for the queue.
That thing is popular.
It's because they're letting everyone get to the end of the area.
Oh, Jesus, how long is that going to take?
It could take someone up to 4 hours to do it.
Yes, Paul. Execute. Oh, no, X. If you go up to press X, you would do an execution. I don't think he could hear me.
No, it'd probably take me about half an hour to get to the end.
I like it.
The problem is that you can choose to bleed out. So some people choose to bleed out rather than go for the execution. Also, they better stay true to that poster and put in fucking Terminator armor.
It's not bad, this.
Yeah.
How do you sprint?
B. Hold B.
Oh, jeez.
Only world. I can run. There are vehicles somewhere. There you go, there's one.
We need vehicles.
It's a fucking tank. Why would you not want a tank?
Easy to build.
Oh god. Someone's got their hands on the microphone. That's not good.
So what else have you guys seen then?
As soon as you went to Dark Souls, we just came here. We haven't looked at anything else yet.
Is that an enemy? It was.
Careful, there's stuff going on out there.
This game is about running.
Move.
What?
He's got a plasma cannon.
That means nothing to me.
It means big thing.
It means he could potentially one-shot you if he charges it up enough.
It means big thing run away.
Ah. Now that I know I can sprint with a massive gun,
Yeah.
tread softly and carry a big sword.
Da, 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 da.
Oh yeah.
Recoil on that's pretty.
Yeah, that recoil control is.
I think he's shooting his own teammates as well.
They're all running around with plasma. Yeah, it's a good game though.
Someone typed in thanks. I didn't think people really care. It is, hit him. There you go. Oh, he's there. Someone there still.
Oh no! My face! My beautiful face!
Which no one can see behind the helmet.
I'm going to be honest, this game is so loud, it's as if I'm stuck in Inception meets Michael Bay.
If you go to options, you might actually be able to turn it off. Or turn it down.
Oh, right, how do I...
Start or select.
Oh, I see. Oh, no
hello.
way. I like this.
Yeah, is that okay? Yeah. I'll get you the next one.
Yes, you can.
Oh, fuck me overheating. It's a gun.
Oh, so can I... Yep. Like it.
And you just point it into the sandbag.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work this tactically. Right, hold on.
So much the tactics.
Yep.
Only 2.5 minutes left on the game.
Hey, dude.
Tank, vehicle, whatever.
Oh, I see. No, we're not going anywhere.
You could have switched to the driver.
True.
We're just watching him. Shoot him.
Yes, no more spikes.
Apparently, I'm kind of considering taking.
Yeah, there you go. Execute X. Yes. Yes.
Alright, that's it for me.
Best game.
I like it.
Best game 2016.
Alright, I'll start recording that.